racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today.
After eliminating 4 more drivers in the playoffs, we're down to the final 8 and 3 races left before we go to our final 4. But live here tonight to roll the dice, Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the second time this season. It's the Chapman Cup Series presented by Racing Revolution. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, alongside Alex Gagnon, and we've been with you all season long. The top 8, the great 8. Alex, it's a list of drivers that I can't say I didn't expect, but there's a couple in there that I think I didn't expect to be this low and below the cutoff mark, I guess, at this point in the season.
Yeah, this has really gotten down to the point now where you look at the 8 names and by and large you go, all right, I can understand how they got here, but there is a couple of names that you're surprised are below the cut line, and part of that is just due to the fact that consistency hasn't necessarily netted them the playoff points that you're seeing here on the grid. Right now, Jeremy Burns, Travis Gilbert in a great shape here, coming in tonight, plus 39, plus 21. They should be pretty good, assuming they have a pretty solid round in the next couple races. But guys like Tyler Harrison, Dakota Floyd, both -9, despite how consistent they've been all year, really puts it into perspective that they're just going to need to keep firing off that consistency they've had the past 6 weeks here to give themselves a chance, because Burns and Gilbert have been strong all year. Rob Rader finally turned it on last round of the round of 12, and Carter Lynch has come oh so close to picking up one of these playoff wins. He's just missed out a couple of times here. So this is going to be an incredibly competitive championship for to break into, and it starts here tonight at the only, dare I say, normal track in this round of 8.
Yeah, it's the intermediate ovals that, you get the constant, consistent names like Travis Gilbert, like Rob Rader, Nick Alves. These guys always perform well here. But then you go to places like Talladega and Martinsville where it's really, that's the gamble. We call this the dice roll, but those two tracks, they will dictate some of your Final Four just based off of we statistically get a new winner at those racetracks every time we go there. And it's a high probability that we'll see it again. But here's a look at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, opened back in 1996. It's been renovated to steeper banking and the iRacing part that we're going to be on here tonight. 20 degrees of banking in the corners, 1.5 miles. We've been here before, so we'll take you to your race analysis. 134 laps here today, 50 mile per hour pit road speed limit, 5 tire sets available rather, 2 green, white checkered attempts, the stage at lap 30. But it's time to get you your Coastal Financial Pole Award, and starting on that top spot, it's going to be Travis Gilbert in the number 22. He'll roll off on the inside of Jeremy Burns, who got the win last week at the Roval. Gilbert looking to turn the heat back up this week. Starting to his outside, of course, is the number 9 fan favorite. In row number 2, Rob Rader, Trevor Erhardt. Then you have Nick Alves, Matt Robinson. Nick Alves at the bottom of this line here for the top 8. And then it's Alex Forget, Berube, Christopher Schaefer in the 23 in that top 10 with Justin Ritchie and Dakota Floyd.
And looking back just behind him, Parker Johnston, Brandon Richardson will make up row number 6. Tyler Harrison, John Fike will roll off in that 13th and 14th position. Bennett and Diaz make up row number 8, with Trevor Keith, Carter Lynn, a pair of playoff guys, 17th, 18th, Grant Thorpe, and Justice Murphy rounding out the top 20.
Well, here we go. We'll keep that grid at the bottom of your screen, but it's the first race of 8. Las Vegas for Racing Revolution in the Chapman Cup Series. Here we go. Let's gamble one more time. There in 3 and 4 for the points leader. He's still in it. Jeremy Burns having his hands full.
Oh, Richardson sideways back up to the racetrack. Hard crash into turn 1. The front end completely destroyed on Richardson's car. And I think it's going to stay green because he was behind the field out of the racing line. But that all started with the 9 dropping way back there, and that all that momentum, all that energy that was getting shuffled through the field eventually found its way. Brandon Richardson was not able to save it on the entrance to turn 1.
And we were mentioning there with the 9 of Burns, we're going to back this up. This is the initial start of the race. He's going to have a moment here going into 3 and 4. The 53 checks up. He's going to get a little bit loose on the outside. Phenomenal save. They went 4 wide through 3 and 4. Floyd took no chance of losing any ground, didn't lift off the throttle at all. They go 4 wide again across the tri-oval, and there's where Richardson gets tagged.
And it was just that energy. Everyone was trying to sort themselves out going down the front stretch. And Richardson just kind of ran out of room. He had Lins trying to make up some ground from behind, and Burns was still trying to get up the speed. Richardson didn't try driving through the 9. The 66 maybe a little more eager to get to the front here in a hurry. Ended up making contact with Richardson, and around the 8 went. But now up at the front, Nick Alves, driver in this round of 8. Maybe the driver we've talked about the least this season in that round of 8. He does have 1 win, but it's coming into tonight 8th out of those 8 drivers. Right now, he looks to have some good speed in the opening couple laps. He's got Travis Gilbert and Rob Rader not too far behind him, though. So 3 playoff guys in this top 3. And then the winner of the spring race here for Jet, currently running in 4th.
You're talking about from 5th position up to 1st in 1 lap. As they made it to 3 and 4, he got to the inside, and Gilbert was able to take away that spot. That's phenomenal drive. And he's holding on to the lead. Clean air key at Las Vegas.
Yeah, and right now, that little side-by-side battle with Gilbert and Rader gonna maybe cost them both just a little bit of time as Gilbert trying to get back to the inside, not gonna be able to do it through 3 and 4. Rob Rader slots himself into 2nd position once again. He finished a runner-up here in the spring. It was one of the few races in the early going of the year that he found some good speed at. Looking to continue that here tonight as Travis Gilbert again gets down to the apron. Rader diamonds off the corner just a little bit more. And he's starting to make some headway here to the back bumper of Owls down the backstretch.
On the recovery for some of these drivers, down 4 spots for Trevor Erhardt as well. Maybe some tire conservation going on here with some of these guys. Rob Rader was catching up to the 24, wasn't able to make the move out of turn 4. He's all over the back bumper here going through 1 and 2.
Yeah, applying some pressure. Battle there for 4th as this getting physical. Robinson and Forget gonna lean on each other coming off of 2. Robinson has the spot for now. That was anything but cordial between the 11 and the 19. And now here comes Parker Johnston trying to battle for that 5th spot. The 48 on a march to the front early. He started outside the top 10. He's now looking to get the 5th.
So a lot of guys have gained quickly in this first stage. 9 laps about to be completed. Up 6 spots here for Parker Johnston. Biggest mover right now, Justice Murphy. He's in 13th, started in 20th position. He is slicing and dicing through this field. He has 2 cars in front of him here with Trevor Keith and John Fike.
Oh, things are getting physical here with Thorpe, Orlando, and Bennett. They're all bouncing off each other in the 1.
Sideways.
Around. He's coming back up to the racetrack hard into the wall. Somehow he didn't take anybody with him. Another big moment on the entry to turn 1 here, 10 laps into the race.
Man, it was
Carter Lynn's got big time lucky going through 1 and 2.
2 playoff drivers right behind him there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Burns was just behind Lynn's as well. Here's the onboard with the 66. And see how closely at speed that this thing almost completely wiped him out. That's a good way to wake up early on.
And I think he did touch just enough there to push the 77 up the track the rest of the way. They're not done. They're still going at it back here.
The middle back of the field right now, an absolute madhouse. As you see Bennett rolling the middle outside of Michael Reed. A lot of 2x2 here down the back straightaway. Was getting 3 wide the past couple laps on the front stretch. We'll see if that happens again as Reed now going to take a peek to the inside, bringing Burns and Linz with him. Oh, we're going 3 wide. Bennett, big time block on the 66. He got right there. Bennett holds him off. Reed goes by. So does Jeremy Burns. Here comes Michael Call as well. And all of this is happening way back to the 17th through like 21st positions here. This is toward the back end of the field, but we have some really fast race cars who are trying to figure something out here in the early going before the stage break.
Here was the pass for the lead coming out of turn 2 just about 2 laps ago. Rob Rader got to the outside of Nick Alves, was able to clear him going into 3. It's a new race leader. And, you know, this goes back to Travis Gilbert, started on the pole. Maybe he's saving his tires, but it looks like a lot of these guys, once they get out in front of him, he's not able to pass them.
Yeah, certainly seems a little bit that being the case here. He also could be dialing it back just a little bit. I do think back to last time we were at Vegas, this time last year in the round of 8. when coming to the stage checkered. Travis Gilbert got tangled up for the stage win, ultimately wrecked out, cost him a ton of points on the day. And maybe it's just trying to be a little bit more mindful, a little bit more precise with what he's doing here in the opening couple laps, as now he's looking to the inside of Alves off of 4, looking to try to take that second place away. Nothing going that time by. He'll slide back in just a little bit, back down toward the apron, but the battle very much on for second right now, as Robinson is starting to creep into the picture as well from that 4th position.
What I noticed last night after broadcasting 125 laps in the Tuesday night series, this track's going to migrate towards the top. It seems like the middle and high line, especially later on in the race, will get faster and faster. And yeah, they were under the lights last night, but I think it's still going to be more the same. This track is going to heat up on the bottom groove. It's going to rubber in, and drivers are going to start hunting for grip. And if you can run that high line without getting loose, I think you stand to gain the most positions. And we saw that early on. And some of these guys have migrated back towards the bottom. I think it's hurting their speed out of the exit.
Yeah, right now, a lot of cars really starting to bounce around, look for some grip, see where their car's handling the best. And it's only been a handful of laps, but we've already seen cars experimenting with about 3 lanes worth of racetrack here, down on the apron, 1 lane removed. And then a couple cars going about 2/3 of the way up to the wall as a necessity, not necessarily by choice, but we have seen some passing happen up there as well as we're on board with Tyler Harrison, currently running 6th after starting 13th. He's been on a steady march here to the front to try to continue that string of good finishes he's been on lately. Still looking for that first win that could potentially punch his ticket to the championship 4. Right now, he is in a good spot as he has Forget behind him, and Forget's in a battle with Parker Johnson here. Those 2 cars have been, oh boy, Johnson clipped the wall, almost took Richie there with him. Richie going to try to capitalize, though, to the inside. This is the battle for 8th.
Then back to what you're saying with this string of, good finishes. If the 45 car finds his way into the top 3, he's in an excellent situation to overtake. We were looking at the points earlier. I'll bring them back up on the screen. Rob Rader, Travis Gilbert, Jeremy Burns. So Burns not having the best of days right now. 39 above the cut line. And, of course, I have that cut line a little bit too high. Carter Lins is in that top 4. Tyler Harrison, all he needs is 9 points here today. So stage right here for Carter Lins not looking as good. He's back at 18th. Harrison stands to gain enough because he's running in 6th. He'll get points for this, and Lins will not.
Yeah, and that's the nature beast. He's not the only one. Dakota Floyd's also been having a tough time. He's actually been going the wrong direction here the past couple laps. He's almost outside the top 20 now. So he's actually coming down pit road. Same with John Fike. So stops here before the pit cycle. We see a couple cars on pit road. Those 2, Justice Murphy as well. Trevor Keith down on pit road. A lot of cars starting to try to split this stage in half, as it were.
So splitting the stage in half, you also have Kevin Orlando coming down pit road. Tyler Harrison's going to try some tires. So that tells me they can't make it to the end of the stage with everybody committing already halfway through the field.
Yeah, the estimated fuel window for tonight, reasonably say about 33 to 36 laps. And with the stage break
being
see that? Lap 4, yeah, he smoked it in there.
I thought he was going to hit Thorpe.
Yeah. Pit window about 33 to 36 laps tonight. The stage set for lap 40, and with this thing going green since the drop of the green flag, a caution or 2 may have been able to buoy them along to get to that stage mark on the 1 tank, but doesn't look like that's going to be the case here tonight, so they're thinking probably they're just going to split it, try to optimize their full run, assuming this thing goes green all the way to lap 40 when that stage caution will fly.
So I've updated the race analysis, got that wrong as well. I've messed up a couple things here tonight. Just know, folks, that I bought a house. I'm still working on it. Probably not going to be living in it by the end of this year. It's been a long road. I'm slowly going insane.
Well, if nothing else, we are here. The race is going, and we are watching some action unfold up front It's Travis Gilbert on the back bumper of Rob Rader. Alves and Erhardt in that battle as well. The 53, he's kind of fallen back into the clutches of the rest of the top 10 here as they're running. Everything's starting to get stacked up now behind the race leader.
Last time by, Gilbert about a tenth and a half faster than the 53. Ran a 30.973 to a 31.113 for Rader. His last time laps on the top left of your screen, and they're all going to come down pit road at the same time. Here we go.
4 of the top 5 cars down pit road. Everyone who was not Trevor Erhardt in that lead group, they all get down good. Oh, someone's spinning in the back. I think that's Diaz who spun entering pit road. It's going to cost him a few seconds here. Got it slowed down in time, but definitely cost himself a few seconds here trying to get on and off pit road. So it looks like the quickest stop in the box of that top 5 group was Alex Forget-Berube. That being said, it was only a marginal advantage, so I think he's not going to be able to be jumping too many cars here on the racetrack when they cycle back out. And just like that, only 8 cars remain who have not come down pit road yet. They can probably go about another 8-ish laps if they really want to, but here comes Erhardt and Robinson. Add Parker Johnson to that list as well, so more cars from the front coming down pit road.
I've seen a lot of 9 and 10 second pit stops, so that tells me that they're not taking the full fuel load. Some of these guys might be taking right sides only.
Yeah, and that's if they're taking tires. It could very well be a fuel only. Looks like Erhardt, though, put on some right sides. No left sides, though. 2 tire stop for both Robinson and Erhardt, and they're back out on the racetrack as everything cycling through. Justin Ritchie still holds the lead. He's one of 5 cars back to Christopher Schaefer yet to come down pit road.
55 up 8 spots now, started back in 9th position. It's been a solid day so far. I get some laps led, and unfortunately not able to make the cut mark there for the top 8. He had a playoff berth with the victory there back in February. You have to go all the way back then to find Justin Ritchie. I think it was February. It might have been Talladega. It was the other date, turned over Talladega. But it's been a while for the 55 to victory lane.
Yeah, that would be Talladega. You are correct on that. That was back in April when he got his first win of the season and that dramatic finish over Matt Robinson and Jeremy Burns. And it's been not a bad season for the 55. We've seen him in the mix a number of races this year. Just the round of 12 was not particularly kind to the 55 machine. Part of the reason why he currently finds himself on the outside looking in. He had a pretty good run at New Hampshire, but I think things kind of came apart at Kansas and then at the Roval.
There's Kyle Stewart bringing it down pit road from the 5th position. Dakota Floyd will cycle out. He was one of the drivers that shortcut this strategy. He's going to be ahead of Gilbert and Harrison. Rader lost a little bit of ground. He stayed out a couple extra laps. Can Floyd hang on to it for another 9 laps?
It's going to be a tall order to hold off everybody. The big thing is, though, where this caution might fall, he might be able to hold on enough to get some stage points out of this, which would be huge for the 57 coming into tonight. 9 points below that cut line and was kind of struggling back in about 17th or so before he kicked off his pit cycle. So even if he doesn't hold on for the stage win, any sort of stage points in track position is going to be beneficial to where he was, as he's now in this battle with Travis Gilbert what is the race lead at the moment, now that everyone has cycled through the pit stops. So the 57 in front. However,
Rader
he's
in
got
the
oldest
wall.
tires. Oh boy, and John Fike got a little screw there as well. 3 wide now. Here goes Alves and Harrison to the inside of the 4-time champ.
Alves down on the bottom. He'll get by. Harrison not able to complete that pass after the 53 hit the wall. Floyd was able to defend that time around. He'll get his first lap led. I think that's all he wanted out of this, but he's going to continue to give the inside to the 22. Try the high line here. out of the corner. It's enough for another one.
Yeah, he continues to stave off the 22 right now. They're about a second clear of third on back, and that's a pretty messy battle as well. As you see Gilbert to the inside, he'll take that lead away. Travis Gilbert to the point here, going on to lap 34. And this battle is second on back. This is where things are getting really interesting. John Fike, who came down pit road at the same time as Dakota Floyd, has got a mirror full of cars who are all trying to get up there to Gilbert before this stage is over. Rader's going to force his way past. Fike gives him a bit of a shot down the back straightaway. And Alves, Harrison, Forget, they're all on the scene as well.
So Harrison hanging on to 7th and checking back in there with Carter Lenz, the 66 machine. It's back even further than the last time we mentioned that cutoff line. Sitting in 20th right now.
Yeah, here is the 66. Coming off of a pretty solid series of races in the round of 12. Now, right now, him and Trevor Keith, these two guys are in this round of 8. They are currently not where they want to be on the racetrack. They are stuck way back in 19th and 20th here. Not shaping up to be any stage points for them, but maybe going to be able to try to flip the stage in some capacity here. Not entirely sure what the plan is, but both of them not where they want to be in the early going.
Keith had a little bit of damage there on the front end. He brought it down to pit road. Only had 9.4 in the box. But a minor bend on the front end there. That's going to hurt you a lot, especially on these straightaways. This track, not as aero dependent as, say, a super speedway, but you definitely feel it on the backstretch.
And that is going to be something that I think they're going to try to take a look at here in the stage in a couple laps, really spend some time on pit road, hammer out as much of that damage as they can, because clearly it is affecting that 15 car's, pace down the straightaways to some effect, because he has just done nothing but slowly slip the wrong direction here through the opening 38 laps. Up front, though, doesn't look like anyone's going to touch Travis Gilbert before this stage. Rob Rader might, but he is only cut off about 2/10 of that deficit from when he got clear of John Fike. Floyd has only dropped to 3rd. This is shaping up to be potentially a really strong pit strategy call for the 57 as far as stage points are concerned.
Yeah, if he can pull off a top 3 on this, it's a phenomenal reversal. Especially after, he was sitting outside the top 15 just about 15 or so, 18 laps ago.
Yeah, just behind him, there's still a lot of those playoff guys who are very much in the hunt, very hungry, battling against here. See Nick Alves battling in there. Oh, Michael Call sideways on the back straightaway. The caution is out. That is going to count as our stage. Linz is around as well.
And a bad day getting worse for the 66. Into the outside wall.
So that is going to bring out the caution for the stage. Travis Gilbert going to be scored your stage winner. But the bigger story there, Michael Call, Carter Lenz, sideways, bringing out the first caution of the night.
And it was right at that stage lap. So that will do it. Travis Gilbert getting stage number 1 with Rader, Floyd, Fike, Alves, the top 5. You have Erhardt, Forget, Harrison, Robinson, and Johnston. So very broken up for our playoff drivers in the round of 8. Sitting here doing the math here. I think only 4 of them made it into the top 10 here. 5 of them.
Yeah, they got a little. They got a little scattered about. There they come down pit road. Travis Gilbert going to lead the entire field, it feels. Down pit road this time. Yeah, it looks like everyone on the racetrack coming down pit road here on lap 41. Topping off for tires and fuel. Everyone diving into their box. Now, there's someone we just saw, Jeremy Burns, very late to his box. He was one of those guys outside the top 10 in that cycle. It's been a tough start to the day for the 9, similarly to the 66 and the 15, as everyone races off pit road here, and I do believe Travis Gilbert did enough to retain that lead spot. No, sorry, Rob Rader got out in front of him. It's Rader, then Gilbert, then Floyd. Huge shift in track position for Dakota Floyd. Can't say enough about the undercut strategy there and how much that worked out for the 57. That has completely changed the complexion of his race from where he was running.
We were trying to find here in the time that everything happened what went down on the backstretch. Trying to find information on this.
Yes, the Michael Call was sideways. We were on lap 39 coming to lap 40. And when I caught up on my end here, the 89 was just fully backwards going down the back straightaway. I'm not entirely sure what happened.
So back this up even further.
Yeah, looks like they're coming back to... Yeah, I think this is where we're at. Looks like Orlando got a piece of the wall as the 89 comes up. Two of them make contact. Around he goes, and Lynn's, I guess, trying to get the thing slowed down, just lost control of it. So 2 separate incidents here.
Too much rear braking it, I think. That's a tough break there for Lenz. It was already a bad start to the day. Unfortunate there.
So he is still on the lead lap, but he is going to be restarting here in 24th. To that point, though, Trevor Keith 21st, Jeremy Burns 22nd. And there's a couple of playoff guys who are trapped way far back here.
Burns, Lenz way back there. Keith back there as well. Here we go for stage number 2 on lap 43. Going back green. First race of the round of 8. An excellent restart for Rob Rader. But an even better one for the 24. Remember, he took the lead quickly on lap 1. Let's see if he can do it again.
Here we go down the back straightaway. Single file through the front 3. Floyd and Fike side by side for 4th. Here comes Nick Alves, though. The 24 was fast on the opening restart. He is fast again here as Forget's making it 3 wide for 4th on back. Fike, Forget, Floyd. Here they go in the 1. You got Erhardt just behind him. They're going to keep this settled out of turn 2. Yes, they are. Boy, they are absolutely flying around right now on those fresh tires. Fike is going to move to 4th. Forget seals 5th away. Floyd cycles back to 6th now. And don't look now, but here comes the rest of the field. They're 3 wide behind them.
These restarts here in Vegas, I mean, everybody feels great on 4 fresh ones, but how long does that feeling last? Especially when you go 3 wide for 2 or 3 laps in a row. I think it fades away quickly.
Yeah, we'll see who really abused their tires in the first couple laps versus who's been taking care of them once this run starts to string about a little bit. Rader getting a little bit of separation. Gilbert has gotten past Alves for 2nd. Fike and Forget remain your top 5 here as we make our way on the lap 46. Dakota Floyd's also slipping the wrong direction as well. He's already down to 8th after restarting in that 2nd row. And he's got Matt Robinson just behind him, who he'll slide in front of. Robinson, another one of those drivers who was in that round of 12, but did not advance to this round of 8 after a pretty tough break points-wise. Only missed it by 8.
So moving up through the field, though, we have another driver that's on the flip-flop of this. John Fike up 9 spots and holding the 5th position. Remember, he's one of those drivers that has had success, just hasn't been able to put it all together for the end of these races. But we've seen the 65 be fast, and it's been at these intermediate ovals where we've seen the 65 do its best work. Hopefully tonight it'll be a better situation for him. He can finish this thing out in the top 5.
Like every time we say that, he runs so well for the closing 30 laps, and then something catastrophic happens, and I feel bad I even mentioned anything. But right now, looking pretty stout, looking in that 4th position, and might be on the hunt to find a little bit more here. Sorry, he's running in 5th. He just got passed by Alex Forget, but still in this top 5, and maybe going to be able to reel in a couple of those cars in front of him. He's also got a mirror full of Trevor Erhardt just behind him. It's been a pretty good day for the 41, gotta say. He's been kind of up in the mix all evening long.
Erhardt started in the 4th position. So he started up here in the top 5. I'd like to see him get back up there. But you'd like to see all these guys that start up here in the top 5 have a good finish, but there's a lot of drivers that they just don't qualify well. And we've talked to a few of them this season about how it would be so much easier to win races. You know, they get runner-up finishes. They end up finishing within, a 10th or 2 of the leader. And you ask them what more do they need. And the immediate response is always, well, I could have qualified a lot better.
That has been the theme for a lot of drivers this year. I know whenever I was more actively competing behind the wheel, that was always my issue. Not that I ever had the speed to really contend for wins, but I would go from 30th to 17th, 18th. But if I could have just started 20th, who knows? Maybe could have snagged the top 10 for the amount of cars I ended up having to work through. That's just the name of the game. Some folks are really good on the short run. Some really need that long run. As Fike got all types of checked up out of 2. They are bouncing off each other between him, Harrison, and Robinson. And now Harrison going to take a look to the middle lane here, to the inside of the 65. Oh, they almost came together off of 4.
I got really tight there off of turn 2. The 45 of Harrison cut him a break, but now he's going to look to the inside, hoping that Fike will just give him the spot. He will not. Fike going to fight back. A slider right here. He wasn't clear. They make contact.
Yeah, he tried to make himself clear, just not quite enough. And I think they may have made contact there in the 3. This battle is starting to get pretty physical here between Harrison and Fike. Harrison's finally going to clear off of 4. He's now up to the 6th position. Here comes Michael Reed right onto the scene, trying to get by Fike and trying to reel in Harrison, as that battle took a couple cars behind him and stacked everybody back up.
Reed on the outside in the 91. Another one of those drivers that made the final 16. Missed a week there in that 3 rounds and was almost in a must-win situation. I think he had to win to advance to the round of 12. But he got the win there at Richmond to put himself into the playoffs. And that was another one of those, examples in the situation. If you find yourself in a must-win for the end of the regular season, it was probably a bad season.
Yeah, I suppose that is one way to look at it, but, having that actual win goes a long way. I mean, we have multiple drivers in our round of 8 who have not found victory lane yet this year. The guy he's battling with right now, Tyler Harrison, as steady and consistent of a year as it's been. Michael Reed has found victory lane. Tyler Harrison has not. It's one of those deals where, how do you quantify success? Do you want to be in the hunt for the championship? You want to be in victory lane week in, week out? Obviously, in a perfect world, you'd have both of those things. But when the season starts going, if it's not going how you like, where do you draw the line of, all right, this was a good week, or it's been a good month, good season? And I think for both of them, kind of in their own way, this may have been, maybe more so for Harrison. He's been happy with his results, but I'm sure unhappy not being in victory lane. Versus Reed, who may not be happy with his consistency, but is happy with the fact that he did put one in victory lane in pretty convincing fashion, too, might I add. It wasn't like he stole one at one of these super speedways. I mean, he went out there and just wrenched that lead away at Richmond with about 20 laps to go and just drove off with it.
So the major contrast that we have to talk about right now is this 53 car. if you want to quantify success, I think you base your season off of what this guy did. He was quiet, he had bad races, but he won enough, got himself in here, and then started winning again. That's another feat in itself. When you have something like this go on all the way through 20-plus races, you only had one victory to your name prior to the postseason, and then you string together 2 of them in the round of 12. Now he's looking like he might win another one just about halfway through this thing, and he has 0.6 of a second over Travis Gilbert. Gilbert with 5 wins on the season. He's went kind of stagnant here, kind of quieted down, had a string of top 3s, and that postseason 2 wins in a row there, but was nowhere to be found really in that round of 12. He had a really rough go at it.
Yeah, he had enough points to advance, fairly comfortably, but it was not really the dominance that we saw in that round of 16. He had a near perfect round of 16, and he did advance through the round of 12 plus 29 to that cut line. But as far as he entered it, at about a similar mark, so he didn't really gain or lose a ton of ground compared to the rest of the field. Even though he was basically the car that beat his, Viking Robinson. Yeah, that car was having a tough time getting the throttle down off of 4. And the 11 nearly made him pay for that one. The 65 now trapped to the bottom of the racetrack as just everyone is roaring by on the high side here. Something is up with the 65 machine.
I know he got a little bit tight there coming off of 4, bounced the wall. Now all the way back to 17th. He was in the top 5 just a lap ago. So you got to wonder now, it's kind of in that window of about 20 laps. Is anybody going to try to split this race up into thirds properly? Yeah, the stage break. I think this is the second stage. You split it up, lap 70 and lap 100. I think that's the laps you go for.
Yeah, I think it's got to be the move. And even then, you got that window still pretty tight because it's about 90 laps to when we restarted this race to the end if this goes green the whole way. And with the fuel window, about, say, 33 to 36 laps. It gives you a little bit of flexibility when you can come down pit road, but that option is not particularly wide if you're trying to get all the way to 90 laps out, because if you run it long both times, you're going to go, say, 35, 35, and about 20. And if you do the short side of it, you have to probably go, I don't know, the shortest you could probably cut it's 20 or, yeah, but I'll take 25, 25, and then you're looking at 40, which is a bit of a stretch. So maybe it's 27, 28. Long story short, what I'm trying to say is when we see one car come down pit road, chances are we're going to see just about everyone over the next couple laps do so, because there's no sense trying to come down pit road a third time probably if you can help it and only have to come down pit road twice. And to make that happen, the math is fairly narrow on what is allowable and to make it to the end.
Yeah, that fuel window is sitting right between 30 and 35 laps. So I think lap 70, maybe stretch it to 71, 72. Then you could go to lap 102, 103. I wouldn't want to go much further than that because it seems like the fall off on tires pretty bad here tonight. They're already a second slower, and that's just with 24 laps. They still have another 10 laps here on these tires that they could have to go with fuel. It's probably going to end up being about a second and a half of fall off, and the first driver that blinks down pit road is going to make that time up. For every lap they come down and have an advantage on tires, that's a second made up on the racetrack. And you saw it there with Floyd. He was able to flip his outcome with his pit strategy on stage 1. He ends up with a top 5 in the stage, and he was kind of outside of the top 15. I didn't even think he'd be a factor for the stage.
No, and you can see that might just be a bigger indication of what's going on tonight for the 57 as he's slipped now down to 14th. After restarting third, he has just continued to drop through the field. However, he was able to use that fuel strategy to good effect, got a good helping of stage points, and even if the car doesn't have the pace he needs tonight to go out there and win, he's going to at least be able to tack on several more points than he would have otherwise from that call to come down pit road on the undercut. And now you have to wonder if anyone's going to be considering something similar here. Problem is, with multiple pit stops still to go, undercutting it here could just set you up for an entire run where you're at a tire deficit and you still have another cycle of pit stops to go after it. So it's a very normally we talk about the strategy part of it more at a super speedway race when you're trying to figure out who's going to go with you, who's not, who's going to make moves with you. This is one of those ones where it's starting to shape up to potentially be a pretty interesting little situation as far as the pit strategy is concerned here today.
And Tia Silva, $1.99. I'm going to give you 1.99 laps around with Tyler Harrison. Currently running in the 6th spot, chasing down on Nick Alves for the 5th position to the inside through 1 and 2, and he's really close, pushing up the track. Close call there, and we're going to change this camera over right before the start-finish line. It's got to be 1.99. We can't mess this up.
There we go. It's got to be even basically past this restart window. So we get right to the line. There it is. 1.99 laps on board with Tyler Harrison. Tia Silva, thank you so much for the donation. And big wreck into turn 1. Dylan Picklesheimer hard into the fence. John Fike is with him. Are they serious? iRacing has not thrown the yellow. I am floored. There was a massive wreck. John Fike's car is wobbling down the back straightaway. Picklesheimer's car is destroyed. Somehow we stay green through that? All right, iRacing. Sure. I mean, they absolutely hammered that wall. Both Fike and Picklesheimer. Right fronts on both of those cars demolished. Somehow we are still green. It was 3 wide here, and Picklesheimer was just running out of room there with Johnston down low. Comes back up the racetrack hard in the Fike. I don't know, man. iRacing's lines of where they deem things to be a caution-worthy or not continue to fascinate me each and every time we fire up this service.
Yeah, and it's been kind of a change here. Race manipulation. We were talking about that a little bit, I think, in the off race and during commercials. Last, what was it? Back in New Hampshire, I think it was, where it was just terrible crash after terrible crash, and we weren't seeing yellows come out at all.
And here comes the leaders down pit road. So even though the yellow didn't fly, everyone decided that the pit window is open here. Rader, Erhardt, Gilbert, and Moore going to make their stop, but to the point you were making a second ago, Bradley, the past couple weeks especially, we've had a couple where it's been like, really? Nothing? No, okay.
Yeah, and I think, it goes back to race manipulation. We had a lot of problems with drivers purposely bringing out cautions, coming back up onto the racetrack, and I think iRacing's kind of dialed the sensitivity back too much. Well, that situation right there, the caution could have froze the field, maybe saved some of these guys. But at the same time, we're going to stay green, and we're going to listen to Alex Forget Berube coast around this place. He's going to clutch it all the way to pit lane. This should cycle everybody out of pit road, and Jeremy Burns down there as well. Dakota Floyd from around the 14th, 15th position. Alex Forget down and away now. Left side's on that machine. This will cycle Rob Rader back to the top spot, but he has Travis Gilbert right behind him here on lap 76.
And these two have not been able to get separated since the drop of the green flag here tonight. And another pit cycle is still. Oh, Forget had he almost came up toward the apron, had to dive back down as the leaders were roaring on past. Here we go, though. Gilbert to the back bumper. These guys have been doing war. The champion, you could say, of the round of 16 versus the champion, you could say, of the round of 12, going to war here in the first race of the round of 8. Trevor Erhardt, the only other car who's really kind of in the picture here with him. He's about 1.3 seconds back, and then the name my eyes jump to, Alex Forget. He's 3 seconds back in fourth, but he's on several laps fresher tires than the cars in front of him. And he won this race in the spring. Could he be doing the Vegas double here today?
Definitely showing some speed here. 19 car ran
Jeremy
that pit
Burns
cycle
is out of the race. That car on pit road. And he's gone. He has left the session.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find what happened to him. He might have... Let's see if I can back this up one more time. He brought it down pit lane. Did he just park it there?
I believe so. I don't know if he ever got that car going again once he stopped. So the guy who was first in points coming into tonight and the winner last week at the Roval, an early exit. That's wild.
Caleb Gilbert in the chat says the 9 has a college series race.
Oh yeah, the NASCAR College Series fires off tonight, and I think about 3 or 4 minutes, or at least the qualifying session opens for it. Well, that is. Yeah, not too often in real life do you have a racer who has to leave one race to start the next race during the first one. But, something that's a little more common here in iRacing. Either way, though, that is going to be a bit of a setback here. He didn't pick up any stage points either, so that 31-point buffer that he came in with today is going to get drastically cut down going into Talladega next week.
And that might explain, he might not have put much time in here tonight in practice and might have been focused on that instead. Had his mind on other things from the drop of the green flag. It's hard to focus on 2 things at once like that.
Especially when...
Benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, especially when you're, racing. This is such a... people think, you're just driving the car around. It is such a demanding amount of mental focus to run these cars competitively lap after lap. And, if your mind is elsewhere, you definitely will notice that on the track, on the timing sheet. But I tell you what, there's 2 guys who look dialed in right now. It's these 2 cars running first and second, man. Right now, Travis Gilbert just a shadow. Anywhere that Rob Rader has gone to 22 has been right there, about a car length and a half behind him. It's been that way for most of this race, but especially since this green flag pit cycle has finished out.
Finishing that cycle up here around lap 80. It's Dakota Floyd, Justin Ritchie racing for the top 10. Ritchie back to 10th. Matt Robinson just behind that. Take it on board. The front end of Matt Robinson, the 11.
That middle lane here through 3 and 4. Not side by side. Little nose to tail action for Ritchie and Floyd just in front of him. This is happening for the tail end of the top 10. Robinson trying to work his way into the top 10 once again. Spent most of the early part in this race running in that top 10 group. So he gets a good run here off of 2. He's reeling in the distance to Justin Ritchie. Going into 3, Ritchie goes low. Robinson's going to stay up high, going to try to get back to the throttle sooner than the 55 as he sets something up here going into 1.
It's like he did. Got to the outside there for a second. Something else that I'm watching happen is Alex Forget and Trevor Erhardt about to battle for the 3rd spot. Remember, you were talking about those fresher tires. It's about a 3-lap advantage for the 19. These tires will start to plateau. It's going to level off between these two. We're not quite in that window, but I'd say another 15 laps and Forget's probably not going to have that advantage of speed. Last time by, he was a little off.
Yeah, before he caught the back bumper of Trevor Erhardt, he was running about 1.5 tenths to 2 tenths faster than the race leaders. The moment he got into the dirty air behind the 41, though, those times were kind of equalized. So at the 19, it is very much in his interest right now to try to find a way around the 41 while he still has that slight tire advantage before they plateau like you were talking about. Because otherwise, that advantage is going to go by the wayside with nothing to show for it. You see, he's going to take this middle lane here. The dirty air, powerful off these cars, and the 41 doing a good job right now keeping the 19 in a spot where that air wash is going to really disturb the ability for the 19 to actually get that car to rotate through the corners.
Well, we're going to take a quick break here on V-Speed, rest our voices up, and bring you uninterrupted coverage for the tail end of this one. You are watching the Chapman Cup Series live from Las Vegas in the first race of the round of 8. Back with more in just a moment.
Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
So Chapman's been around for...
Welcome back to our coverage of the Chapman Cup Series and round of 8. First race so far at Las Vegas has been caution-free, with the exception there at the stage. I guess you could say it had one caution. About half a lap to go in stage number 1. Your stage 1 winner, Travis Gilbert, starting to struggle here with Rob Rader. He's fallen back to the clutches of Trevor Erhardt and Alex Forget Berube. Berube not able to complete that pass there. We were watching just before the break. The 19 car has been stuck in the dirty air, but we're about to have a three-way battle for second as we watch this top 4.
Yeah, as I having another car in the mix may actually open things up a little bit. And, that may sound counterintuitive, but if there's a lane where you can get a little bit of a draft down the back straightaway here at Vegas, it's not like a Daytona or Talladega where this place is entirely draft dependent, but it's fast enough where that is definitely a factor. And if you have a couple options, you can start picking and choosing, which lane has the better pole, which area is giving you the better exit. You might start getting the ability to dance around a little bit, find something that may not have been working earlier. As Travis Gilbert clipped the wall off of 2. That's going to bring Trevor Erhardt right into the picture. Here goes Forget to the bottom of the racetrack. All of this happening for second, just behind Rob Rader.
Alex Forget got to the inside of the 41. It was what you mentioned there, Alex, with another car into the mix. That dirty air could help the 19, and it did, but he still hasn't completed the pass here into 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's almost clear, coming off at 2. Not quite yet, though. Oh, Erhardt clipped the wall. They're going to be door-to-door down the back straightaway. Forget to the bottom, Erhardt up high. Side by side in 3 and 4. They're both just behind Travis Gilbert. Still going to be lockstep off of 4 as they make their way to the start-finish line. This battle continues to be ongoing. They are glued to each other right now, side drafting down the front straightaway. And neither one's going to get clear here in 1 and 2. I think Erhardt's going to be able to get back on that throttle, though, and hold on to the spot for now after a spirited effort from Forget to try to get up the third. Erhardt, though, defending nicely, and all of this has reeled Travis Gilbert back in the Rob Rader in front of him.
Less than a tenth that time by. 0.2 of a second shaved off Rob Rader. Maybe getting some dirty air from Grant Thorpe as they'll go by on the inside of the 77. Coming out of 2.
Yeah, here we go. A little bit of dirty air might throw things off just a little bit. Starting to get to some lap traffic here for the race later. Rader down to the apron. Gilbert just behind him. Next time by, we'll be hitting lap 100. And at this point, we're about 35, 36 laps or so to the end of this race. This is what I would say is the absolute maximum of when this fuel window opens. But even then, you'd have to be a little aggressive with your fuel save. But in a couple laps from now, I have a feeling we're going to see cars start to come down pit road. These guys have run about 25 to 28 laps on their tires, depending on where they pit last time around. So they're only a couple laps away from it making sense to make their final stop if this stays green.
Trevor Erhardt has the speed last time by to make a pass for the lead. We were watching him there before those pit stops. The 41 car was faster than the leaders. He just wasn't in their zip code to, even make an attempt. This time around, though, he is there. And the 41 definitely has a shot at taking over the top spot. Less than 0.3 separate them. Now up to half a second.
Yeah, the top 4 all stacked on top of each other. First to fourth, the gap is less than 2/3 of a second. Then you have a big jump back to Michael Reed and Tyler Harrison, 5th and 6th. But the top 4, man, especially with green flag pit stops coming up, this is going to be a high-pressure situation for those crews down on pit road. Even a couple tenths of a second slower on pit road could cost you some spots here, because that's the only difference between each of these cars in the top 4.
Michael Call working his way back towards the top 5 as well. Michael Reed currently in the 5th position, the 89, the 45 trying to take it away. But I think this is one of those, maybe you sit back here and pass him on pit road. I don't know if you can make up 3.5 seconds to the lead, but we have seen it done. And I think it starts with undercutting as close as you can. This is probably the line here that I would take down pit road. This is as close as I would cut it.
Here we go in the 1. Looks like Erhardt thought about going high on Gilbert. Wasn't meant to be. Same with Forget, low to the 41. Boy, they are all stacked on top of each other, though. Erhardt's to the outside of Gilbert into 3 and 4. Side by side for second. That's going to bring Forget right into the mix as well. As here, the 3 of them come down pit road. Forget stays out. But Rader, Gilbert, Erhardt all down pit road.
And Gilbert with a speeding penalty.
Yeah, he tried to gun it, tried to make up that time, and it cost him. Black flag for Travis Gilbert. That is an absolute heartbreaker to the 22. He's been running so well tonight. Just got a little over-ambitious trying to make up time on pit road.
He's going to end up losing that second spot over this. A hold penalty here for the 22. Your stage winner.
And with no left sides going up on the car, it makes me think Gilbert was thinking about doing a two-tire stop that he's done so well this season. Would have gotten him out plenty clear. The speeding penalty going to cost him so much time. You see the amount of cars leaving on pit road. Boy, brutal for Travis Gilbert.
That leaves the 19 of Alex Forget out on the racetrack. Remember, he went a couple more laps longer than these drivers. He's going to try to maintain that tire advantage for the closing laps here. You don't want to stay out too long, though. Nick Alves down to pit road.
Yeah, you got to imagine this has to be the lap Forget comes down pit road. Any other lap that he stays out, I think it's going to be working more to his detriment than anything else with every other car on the racetrack on fresh tires. And yeah, now he's shifting down, making his way to pit road. Extended it by about 2 laps, similar to what he did the previous cycle.
So Nick Alves down and away as soon as those left sides drop. The 24 car executing very well on strategy, pit road, and everything here tonight. Remember, he's at the end of this cutoff mark, and, you know, I fix everything. Some things just drive me crazy, and so there. It's good now.
There we go. The updated playoff thing now with the cut line where it needs to be. So you can see Linz came into tonight 9 points to the good. Harrison and Floyd both 9 points down. Keith and Alves with 11 points down. Has not been a great night for Trevor Keith, but for Nick Alves, he has very much kept himself in the hunt here, got a good bit of stage points, and is now, even with the late pit, still running in 10th and is on slightly fresher tires than the field. And Forget, he's on 3-lap fresher tires now than Rader and Erhardt in front of him. That gap, though, pretty healthy at 5.2 seconds. But, you know, fresher tires could mean that he reels him in a little bit here, especially if they hit some lap traffic.
Dakota Floyd brought it down pit road. He has 2 cars in front of him that have continued to stay out with Michael Reed and Michael Call in the top 5. And Floyd's execution on pit road, he took 2 tires.
Tell you what, he has had to get real creative with the strategies tonight to try to get some track position. The 2-tire call worked out for him, getting some stage points earlier, but he was slipping a little bit through the field. It's a long run to make it 2 tires to the end here, but you know, Floyd's doing what he can. He has not had the speed tonight to run in that lead group, but you know, he's been, dare I say, about as creative as we've seen anyone be here tonight, and trying to find a way to keep getting himself in track position to work with.
Well, I'll work on that for you. I'm looking at the chat right now, and I know where I need to go. See if we can find it and get that link posted up there in the chat for you. I'm going to do something in the background here, Alex, and try to help these guys out as we watch the battle with Floyd.
Yeah, I'll keep chatting here. So this is that battle you're seeing right now. For 5th place, Michael Call currently has it. Dakota Floyd is trying to make his way up there, as this time around we'll have 24 laps to go here from Las Vegas. This is the round of 8, first race of that round of 8. Winner tonight, if they're in that round of 8, will advance to the championship 4 at Phoenix in 3 weeks' time. This, of course, being the Chapman Cup Series Racing Revolution on Wednesday nights here with V-Speed. As we are starting to tick away to the back end of this. It's been a pretty clean race if you're joining us late. Only the one official caution, although arguably there's probably should have been 3. One on about lap 2, the one that actually did come out, and the one that was about 40 laps ago or so at this point. But we continue to truck along. Michael Call sitting in 5th, Dakota Floyd just behind him. And that speeding penalty we talked about earlier for Travis Gilbert, he was running second at the time, and that penalty has burned him down. He is 20th, 1 lap down. And that is just the nature of the beast here after what was such a great day unfolding. He was in the battle for the lead all evening long. And now he is just hoping that a yellow is going to come out so he could potentially get that free pass, because that is the only way he's going to get back into this race this late in the game.
Yeah, and with only 38 rough laps to go, and as spread out as this field is, we've seen incidents here today that probably should have brought out a caution. You can't rely on that. Just a simple mistake there on pit road. It's that execution. When these races go green like this, I don't know about you, Alex, but I've had many races slip out of my fingers because of the strategy and just executing that. That's where you make up the most of your time under green flag runs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about hitting your marks consistently, making sure you don't make any mistakes on pit road, and making sure you're staying on top of what you need to do there relative to the field. It was never a strong suit of mine. They never called me a crew chief back when I was racing, that is for sure. But we've seen it being used to good effect here as Trevor Erhardt, right now, one of the faster cars on the racetrack. Actually, Michael Call ran the fastest lap last time around. And Alex Forget, despite being on the fresher tires than these guys, ran about 2/10 slower that last time around to 19. Having a little bit of issues here trying to reel in these top two. Trevor Erhardt, though, continuing to plug away at that gap to Rob Rader. It's about 1.7 seconds the difference. You see Reed and Call here. This is that battle for fourth. Michael Call continues to be one of the fastest cars on the racetrack right now.
Running that high line. He was migrated up towards the outside. He's catching up to Alex Forget. He's going to wall ride again here through 1 and 2. Watch the run he gets out of the corner.
Yeah, here goes Reed off of 2, dangerously close to that wall. Gets back on the throttle, roaring down the backstretch, right to the back bumper of the 19. Back to that high side again for Reed. Trying to see if he can work some magic, get himself into a podium position here. He is knocking on the door of Alex Forget, but he's got to be careful. Michael Call's right there with him. 3rd, 4th, and 5th, all getting stacked up in the 1.
Forget kind of took that entry away from the 91. Will that be enough, though, down the backstretch? No, it will not.
Here we go. Oh, big side drafts going into 3. Reed's going to breeze on past. He moves the 3rd. Forget's going to try to hold on the 4th now, as Michael Call's not going to give him any relief here as they go down the front straightaway. Call to the inside. This is that battle for 4th now. Call looks like he has it. So the 91 and the 89. Talk about a couple of cars who have found their best speed of the night here on the last run. They are flying around this racetrack right now.
I'm not really sure what Hudgens is on about, but I don't see a phone number in here. So, but it's too late now, Terry. We all have it. If you posted it on the internet, everybody has it. 3-way battle for 3rd. Trevor Erhardt about 3.5 seconds ahead of this, and he's matching lap times. We still have that lap counter up on the left-hand side of your screen, but it's starting to slow up a little bit. And I think for anybody that thought 2 tires would work here tonight, I think Dakota Floyd kind of proved that it won't. He's holding on to position, but Travis Gilbert, he took 2, and it's just they're in the same place, running the same line, same lap times. It's just not panning out.
Yeah, and the big thing, you can see that deficit to Rob Rader, and for Dakota Floyd, even with relatively clean air right now, that number is just pretty consistently ticking the wrong direction here relative to the race leaders. But in front of him, man, I mean, we've still got ourselves a war, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Forget has fought his way back past Michael Reed as Michael Call has gotten past them both. So Call's now up to 3rd. Forget slides into 4th. Reed slides into that 5th spot. And they all sit about 4.7 seconds back of race leader Rob Rader, who is
I'm going to retract what I said. I'm going to take that back. 2 tires. He's there. They keep racing each other like this. He's got a chance.
Yeah, I'm about to say, if they're going to keep getting all side by side like that multiple times over, yeah, he absolutely will work his way back into this battle. That's the only way he's making any forward progress. The moment they get single filed out, he's starting to slip back. But it's not an unviable strategy in the sense that it's at least keeping them within an arm's reach. So you jump back here. There's Carter Linz and Tyler Harrison. This is the battle for 8th. 66 coming on strong here late in this race.
It was the execution on pit road that Linz got 40.6 down pit lane. Just did it perfectly. Made up a ton of ground on a lot of the cars in front of him. Worked his way into the top 10 through these pit stops. Now has Tyler Harrison, who ran near the top 5 for most of the day, and is back to 8th. Nick Alves in 10th. And the drivers that were in this playoff 8 that were having success here today started to dwindle towards the middle of the field. So everything's kind of leveled off. It's starting to make sense. The initial start of this race, we had a lot of drivers that were out of the playoffs, just all over the racetrack and working their way through the field quickly. And then you had the 24 who led some laps here today of Nick Alves. I thought he would have a race-winning car. It's just, again, back to execution on pit road, and he lost a little bit of time.
Yeah, still running in that 10th spot, but now behind a couple of the playoff drivers. The big thing that's going to be really interesting coming out of tonight, though, Bradley, the two guys who had by far the biggest points advantages coming in. Jeremy Burns will be a DNF here tonight. Travis Gilbert currently scored 1 lap down in the 20th position in a race that only has 26 cars in it, so catastrophic for both of them tonight as far as that points cushion that they had built up. And we're going to go to Talladega with, I don't know if there's really going to be anyone feeling particularly comfortable about their spot. Sans maybe Rob Rader if he holds on to win this and punches his ticket tonight to Phoenix.
He's 2 seconds ahead, starting to pull away from Trevor Erhardt a little bit. They're back at it again, though, for the 3rd spot. Michael Call, Alex Forget. There was a battle again there for the 19. Couldn't get around him. 91 to Reed back to the outside. This is allowing Dakota Floyd to reel him in even more.
Yeah, it's about to become a 4-horse race if they keep battling the way they are right now. Floyd is starting to gain some ground here. Forget, contact with Reed. Oh, he's trying to lock it down.
He did it.
Slides back up. And we are going to stay green as Forget got himself down back onto the apron. It is not going to be a repeat winner here tonight at Vegas, as he had to catch that one. He's going to fall down to the 10th position, but what a fantastic save after him and Reed got together going in the 1.
Yeah, that's going to earn him driver of the day here. It's not very often I've used that graphic, but that one deserved it.
Yeah, if we had the ability to edit it on the fly, it definitely would be the V-Speed save of the day. I mean, take another look at this. Going into turn 1, Alex Forget, Michael Reed, they're battling hard and just, we've seen a couple of cars get absolutely totaled tonight in turn 1. Picklesheimer, Fike, Richardson, all of them with this sort of situation in the 1. Forget almost joined him, but did a fantastic job locking it out. Look at that. That car fully sideways, full smoke, full brake, able to keep it off everyone.
And now let's do that.
And still in the top 10
from the cockpit.
Oh boy, this is going to be a wild ride.
The heads-up driving to do that.
Phenomenal job.
We got to go on board here with the 91. He's going to have a run coming off of 4. I don't think he expected to transition that apron and get that much of a gain.
Yeah. Well, either way, Forget still holds on to a top 10 spot. Reed cycles into 5th. I'm sure the two of them will have a chat about it after this one's all said and done, but that has allowed both Michael Call and Dakota Floyd to get some distance here on the both of them. So Call very comfortably now in 3rd. Floyd going to settle into a pretty solid 4th. And with 4 laps to go, Rob Rader has turned on the Jets, opening up another second of an advantage over Trevor Erhardt. And the 4-time champ seems to be peaking at the right time here. 2 wins in the round of 12, and this time around he'll be 3 away from winning tonight here in Vegas.
With the start of the season, the way it panned out, we were starting to wonder, are we going to see a new champion here? We're still starting to wonder, is it possible to go 5 in a row for Rob Rader? 5 seasons here in Racing Revolution of the Chapman Cup Series. Chapman on the hood of the 53. And you got to wonder, how does he keep finding a way to do it? This season just looked like it was going to be Jeremy Burns guaranteed, hands down, and now we're starting to reconsider with the DNF tonight, the punch of the final 4 for Rader here. 2 to go. I think this is the moment where you say, okay, maybe Rob was having a tough time with the struggles. He overcame it. He worked hard through the season. And now with the races going clean and things not happening beyond his control, he can finally get back to victory lane at a steady pace. Here we go. One more time around, presented by Erhardt Homes. Love where you live. The race here presented by Erhardt Homes in the first round of 8. First race of 8. Rob Rader down the backstretch. Looks like he has sealed the deal. He is on the clutch pedal. Heavy gains here for the rest of the field. He might be a little short on fuel. I don't think he is. I think he's just playing it up for drama. 53 back to victory lane. Rob Rader is going to claim it here at Vegas.
Dominating effort tonight from the 53. Will lead 101 laps en route to victory. Didn't really look like it was going to be a done deal until the 22 sped on pit road on that final cycle of green flag pit stops. From there, he had about a 2-second advantage over Trevor Erhardt that just never went away. And for a guy who, through the first 20-odd some races of the season, say 23, 24, so only had 1 win, that's now 3 wins in the last 4 weeks for that 53 car. Red hot going into the last couple races of the season. And his ticket to Phoenix has been punched. He is going to be your first car eligible to fight for the Chapman Cup Series championship.
Trevor Erhardt and Michael Call across the line, 2nd and 3rd. But here we are, burning it down with your race winner. Rob Rader, another victory on the season. Can't say I'm surprised. This is a racetrack he loves.
He finished runner-up here in the spring, even with the troubles he had at the start of the year. We knew he was going to be fast, and boy, was he.
Now his 4th win on the season. We'll get a word with him in just a moment while he burns it down here on the front stretch. Gonna go get that checkered flag and see if we can find Rob Rader.
There he is. Let me move him on over.
Rob Rader, it's Bradley Cooper and Alex Gagnon in the V-Speed booth. The 4th win now. You are red hot. 3 out of the last 4 races, and now you punch your ticket into the final 4. It's looking like 5 time now.
It's feeling good, Bradley. Now is the time. It's all starting to come together, dude. Pretty excited.
Well, you go back to the start of this season and the contrast of, postseason versus regular. You had 1 win. A lot of these races were DNFs or outside the top 15, but you had that 1 win that would give you your playoff berth as long as you maintained your season. And now you come in here, it just seems like everything is just piecing together. You start to build a jigsaw puzzle, right? And you probably don't see the image at the end that's on the box, but the longer you work on it every day, it just slowly starts to look correct, and eventually you start to cement things to the table because you're so confident you're going to get it done.
Yeah, confidence goes a long way. You're right. And that win at New Hampshire helped kind of wake things up. That really the gateway performance where I kind of threw it away and whatnot. That kind of gave me the confidence. But they changed a lot with the car mid-season, and I like to think I'm one of the more quickly adaptable guys in this league. But the truth of it is that for the most part, I come in here and race with these guys on Wednesday. I'm not running officials. I'm not running tons and tons of practice laps, and it just took me a long time to get acclimated to the car. I could find speed, and I could be quick, but I'd overstep the limits of the car and get myself in trouble, or sometimes I just got caught up in other people's stuff, and it took a while, but something clicked recently, and once we got to the playoffs, I knew it was time to start putting a little more practice in. So the combination of those things, it's all kind of coming together. And one thing that I absolutely love about winning this race is I don't have, well, three things that I love about winning this race. I don't have to care about Talladega. I don't have to care about Martinsville, and I can start practicing Phoenix tomorrow. So look out, dude. Here we come.
Looking to make it 5 championships in 5 seasons. Does it ever get old being the champion here with the Chapman Cup Series?
No, it absolutely never gets old, dude. It never gets old to win. There for a while, I was wondering if I was ever going to win again. Now we've got 3 of the last 4, and we won the last 3 ovals. So really can't be upset with that. And yeah, 5 would be great. With that said, I say this every year, but the competition in this league has stepped up again this year. And I mean, there's a lot of fast guys. Jeremy's going to be really difficult. Travis, I'm sure, will get there. He'll be really difficult. Carter, he's going to be difficult to beat if he gets there. There's a lot of competition. Phoenix is going to be an absolute dogfight. So I'm just glad that I have time to focus on it, and I don't have to go to 2 wild card tracks and deal with the chaos. So yeah, very happy that we got the Chapman Environmental Services Ford back in victory lane again, and it's time to party.
On to celebration time. You rolled the dice and it paid off. Victorious here at Las Vegas. A lot of people backing you here in the Chapman Cup Series and Racing Revolution. Go ahead and shout those folks out while we have you here in victory lane.
Yeah, big shout out to Chapman again. Appreciate everything that they do for us and allowing us to put on these broadcasts here with you guys at V-Speed. You guys do a great job. Big shout out to Buttkicker as well. Again, I've said it before, but I feel like I have an advantage on these pit stops with the Buttkicker. I can just feel the limit of the grip better coming off of pit road. And again, I gapped these guys coming off pit road all night, and that helped build that lead so I could save the fuel for the end of the race. So I really do believe that Buttkicker helps elevate the game. So big shout out to Buttkicker. Hope to win another one this year if I can pull things off at Phoenix. But beyond that, shout out to Erhardt Enterprises for sponsoring the race tonight. Coastal Financial for what they do for us. All About Bugs. Sorry to anybody who I might be forgetting at the moment. I'm pretty pumped up and ready to go. I need a beer.
Likewise, buddy.
Shout out EXR and P4 Performance.
There you go.
Let's go.
There you go. Well, hey, Rob, I feel you on the beer. I think I'm there. It's been a long day, but we'll try to chat with you post race and look forward to seeing you in 7 days' time at Talladega.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Race winner into the Final 4. We'll put him in the infield care center so he doesn't drink too hard. Here we go. It's going to take another commercial break to round up all of these race results and try to get a tally on where things stand in the points. But you are watching the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series live on V-Speed. More post-race coverage will continue with Bradley Cooper and Alex Gagnon right after this.
Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
Welcome back to our post-race coverage at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 134 laps has concluded. Your Stage 1 winner, Travis Gilbert. He gets a speeding penalty on pit road with 10 lead changes and one official caution right before the stage. Rob Rader finds his way to victory lane for the fourth time this season. He punches his way to the Final Four in the playoffs, and we have 2 races left to go that are kind of a wild card here. But here's these final race results coming up on your screen. Trevor Erhardt and Michael Call, they finish out from back and forth. Trevor Erhardt fell out of the top 5 a little bit. It was brief, but the 41 bad fast today. He'll finish in second. And this Michael Call, all the way back from 23rd. He's going to gain 20 positions to finish in this top 3. We'll get a word with those drivers in just a moment. Dakota Floyd, another one of those drivers that he starts up front. He falls out of the top 10. Strategy. Dakota Floyd on 2 tires there in that final pit stop. He's going to get a top 5 with Michael Reed rounding out that top 5. He gained 21 spots, biggest mover of the race here today. Matt Robinson will finish in 6th spot with Carter Lenz in 7th. Lenz doing what he needs to do. Tyler Harrison as well. He's been Mr. Consistent, stringing together those top 10s, but needs to be a little bit better next week and at Martinsville if he wants to make it in, as Lenz already had a 9-point advantage coming into tonight. He's going to finish 1 spot ahead of him. I think it's going to equalize out with the stage points. Nick Alves finishing in 9th. He led some laps today. I thought the 24th car, or 24 car, was going to win this race. I mean, he had a bad fast car, and it was Alex Forget who was also a possible winner. He had a bad cycle there on pit stops. He ends up finishing in 10th.
Yeah, looking back at 11th, Kevin Orlando Jr. and Justice Murphy, both some big movers here, finishing 11th and 12th. Justin Ritchie will finish 13th, just ahead of Kyle Diaz. Trevor Keith with a frustrating day, I'm sure, for him with that early damage, finishes 15th. Kyle Stewart, 16th. Jacob Sirkovich finishing 17th. And Chris Schaefer, the last car on the lead lap, in the 18th position. Parker Johnson in 19th. And Travis Gilbert, despite winning the stage here today, late speeding penalty will drop him to 20th.
6 more cars to talk about here with Grant Thorpe, and you saw him hit the outside wall at one point in this race. He's going to finish 1 lap down, 21st position. Early exit for Jeremy Burns. Had the collegiate race there. The Clash at the Beach, I believe they're calling it. Week 1 for eNASCAR in the College Series, so you can go over and tune into that. We posted a link here in the chat. If you scroll up a little bit, you can go over and watch that. Michael Bennett, tough break for him. He had a meatball flag at one point in this race, 61 laps down. Dylan Picklesheimer and John Fike, cars destroyed, should have brought out a caution. And then, of course, Brandon Richardson, who was the first caution of the night, finishing in 26th. But that's going to do it for our final race results. It's time to move on to your second place finisher. And Alex Gagnon has caught up with Trevor Erhardt in the number 41.
Hey there, Trevor. This is Alex and Bradley in the B-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Tell you what, welcome back, my man. Qualified 4th. We're running up front just about all night long, and was in the mix in that final run there. I mean, you were a couple seconds off from Rob, but you were the only car really in the same zip code after a couple pit cycles had concluded. Talk about the race that was. It feels like from the drop of the green flag here tonight, you had a wicked fast car, and you were never really outside of that top 5.
Yeah, it felt really good. Didn't do a whole heck of a lot of practicing for this. Just kind of with some life things going on, but felt really good to be fast in qualifying, and you found some good lines there at the start of that start of the green flag run that we had to start the race, and kind of figured out what I needed to do to save tires, and tell you what, I had a heck of a lot of fun up there racing with Rob and Travis and Alex and those guys. That whole race, I just let Rob beat me off pit road. I think I could have been a little bit closer to him, and I spun the tires trying to just stay with him off pit road, let him get 2 seconds ahead of me. And after that, it was just a cat and mouse game of trying to run him down, trying to save fuel. And I realized I got to about I think a second and a half, and was like, I'm gonna run out of gas, so I'm just gonna take the second place, take what the race gives me, and bring it home and enjoy the result.
Yeah, man. Well, you mentioned the fuel was a little tight when you came down pit road. Was that just because of when you came down pit road, or were you trying to cut that line as fine as you could to spend as little time on pit road on that last stop?
I think I probably came a lap too early. I could have stayed another lap and been just fine and been able to push a little bit harder. But it's one of those things. When the leaders are pitting and you're right there with them, you kind of don't want to give any little advantage to them that you can, and you just make a last second call, and that's what I decided to do. And you just you got to play the cards that you're dealt at that point. And we I think we played it about as good as we could. And after the kind of tumultuous start to the playoffs for me, and then the bad result last week at Charlotte, I am happy to be back up here talking to y'all for sure.
Well, it's a pleasure having you up here, Trevor. That is for sure. Welcome back to the podium spots here. May not be victory lane, but still a stellar run for you here tonight. Anyone you'd like to shout out on the run here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to all the admin guys for putting the league together, and all the hard work that they do. Everybody in the league who shows up. I mean, I think we had one on-track caution tonight, which is fantastic, and it's always good racing with everybody. Shout out to you, you guys, you and Bradley up in the booth, and all the V Speed crew for putting on the great broadcasts. Erhardt Enterprises for sponsoring tonight. Erhardt Homes for being the white flag sponsor. Chapman, Enginuity. All About Bugs, Buttkicker, V Speed. I think it's been so long. I think I've got everybody for the first time in a while. Shout out to all our league sponsors. This wouldn't be Coastal Financial. This wouldn't be this league wouldn't be as good as it is without those all our fantastic sponsors jumping on board with us every season, and just ready to go to Talladega and have some fun and see what happens at the wild card race next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun, that's for sure. Looking forward to it. And, perhaps if things fall the right way, we'll have the opportunity to talk to you again next week there, Trevor. Congrats on the run tonight.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
And that is your runner-up finisher here tonight, Trevor Erhardt in that 41 machine, which will bring us to our last of our podium interviews here tonight with an incredible run there, Bradley. Sounds like you'll be catching up with Michael Call here in just a second.
Well, I'm still catching up on that word, tumultuous. I believe he used, and it's a new word. It's a new word for me.
Yeah, tumultuous. That's a good way to describe it, especially a good way to describe Dega.
Making a loud, confused noise.
Yeah.
Tumultuous applause is the phrase, and so
some people say that about our broadcasts. Loud, confused noise.
Excited, confused, and disorderly. That is exactly what this is here at VSP. But we've caught up with your third place finisher, Michael Call, in the 89. You gained 20 spots to get up here. Probably felt like you passed 100 cars to get into this situation. You battled with Michael Reed, Alex Forget, Dakota Floyd in that mix a little bit there. Man, just a phenomenal day, though, overall, and gaining all those positions. Congratulations on a podium.
Yeah, thank you. I hit the wall both my qualifying laps, so that put us starting back there. I feel like I had pace for Rob and Trevor and even Travis before his speeding penalty, and this starting 23rd or whatever it was, you gotta just take it as it is. Kind of, I don't know if I spun or got spun or whatever at the stage, so went back to the back. So pretty much after the stage was my fight to the front. So no, good run for sure.
Yeah, and working the strategy, some of these guys maybe short pit. You bring it down pit road at about 30 laps to go. And did you even think about two tires? I know some drivers did it, but did you even consider that?
I did. I took two tires at the midway pit stop at the stage. I wasn't 100%. I didn't feel very good on how the tires felt doing that. it was a gamble. I thought 4 would, you needed to take a full tank of fuel. So I figured if I'm going to sit there for a full tank of fuel, I might as well take 4 tires.
Yeah. Yeah, the math checks out on that. It would have been about 13, 14 seconds to take that full tank of fuel and to make it that 30 laps to the end. But then let's go back here to that spin at the stage, just before the stage. What was it, your take on that? Did you get spun? Did the car get loose? What exactly was your take on that?
Oh, I was just racing Kevin, and I drove in there pretty deep. I was the longest car to stay out on the stage pit stops, so I had 4 or 5, 6 lap fresher tires than Kevin, and I was running about 4 to 5, a half a second faster lap. And I drove in there, and I didn't get tight at all. He got tight on my outside, hit the wall, and I don't know if him reacting off of hitting the wall came down and hooked me, or maybe I came up a little bit. I don't know. I didn't really go back and review it too much. It's kind of just a racing thing, pushing for everything. It was the last lap of the stage. I probably could have just not done it and put myself in a good spot anyway. But is what it is.
And finally, Michael, you've got a lot of people here in the shield on the side of that machine. Go ahead and shout out the folks that put this car on the podium this week.
Yeah, Shield Fire Protection. If you race IRL and you need a custom race suit, I can hook you up with that. Gloves, shoes, everything. Rolling Thunder Motorsports. Trevor and Maddie and Parker and everybody from Lightning Fast Motorsports. TK, Trevor Keith, Tyler. There's everybody over there. That whole group has really elevated my game these last 10 to 12 weeks. Been on the podium talking to you guys a heck of a lot more recently, and that feels pretty good. Everybody that sponsors the league, Buttkicker, All About Bugs, Erhardt Homes, Chapman, just everybody that helps put this league on. You guys for an amazing broadcast, and yeah, we're still hunting, getting closer to a win. I want to get a win by the end of this year, but I'm getting really excited for next year with how we've been running lately.
Well, if you want to get a win, there's a good shot at it next week. We'll see you at Talladega where the wild card race is.
Yep. Hold down, turn left, right?
Yep. That's the name of the game. And avoid the carnage.
Avoid the playoff guys trying to make the next round, huh?
Yeah, that's probably best. But you know what? Go mix it up, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Michael Call, third place finish here. And that does it for our post-race coverage. We have a lot of racing left to be done, but not so much that you'd think. And he's talking about a win. We only have 3 races left to go. That wraps it up here at Las Vegas. And a caution-free race in my book. I think the stage with that caution falling there right around lap 40, this one was clean and green all the way through.
It was, and do I think that there should have been one for what happened with Picklesheimer and Fike? Absolutely, but at the end of the day, that race, that race flew on by. They were just ticking those laps away. We had multiple rounds of green flag pit stops, and you could even make an argument that was partially what decided the race here tonight in favor of Rob Rader, his ability to execute on pit road when it mattered most.
You can tune in next week as we are getting set to go at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time to Alabama, October 22nd. The playoffs continue in the second race of the round of 8, the wild card week. And it might not even necessarily be a driver that's actually in the playoffs. We could see a new winner here. This is Talladega, again, October 22nd at 8:30 on V-Speed. You can tune in. We'll have flag-to-flag coverage all the way to Phoenix. The round of 4, the final 4 coming up with Rob Rader punching his way in to the championship 4. We still have a lot of drivers with Carter Lins, Jeremy Burns, Tyler Harrison, Dakota Floyd, Nick Alves, you name it, coming up here next week. For everybody here at V-Speed that helped make this possible, Adam Baker, my co-commentator Alex Gagnon, this is Bradley Cooper saying so long from Las Vegas. Stay tracking, everybody.